Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be doing Chapter 10, Lesson 6. So if you can turn in your books to Chapter 10, Lesson 6, it's on multiplying fractions. Yesterday we did multiplying fractions with a whole number. Today we're just multiplying a fraction with a fraction. So if you need to pause the video to get to that page, Chapter 10, Lesson 6. Today I think you're going to find again is about the same type of work as we did yesterday. So here's our first example. Franco ate some pizza. 2/3 of a pizza is left. Deandra ate 3/4 of the leftover pizza. How much of a whole pizza did Deandra eat? So we're finding 3/4 of 2/3. One thing I want to point out is this of. Of turns into this multiplication sign. So 3/4 of 2/3 is the same as saying 3/4 times 2/3. A lot of people hear the word of and they think divide because of that v sound in of and divide, but it's really to multiply. So multiply first, then simplify. I'm not going to teach you this. This is some shortcuts that you'll learn in algebra. If we were in the classroom, I would certainly teach you this, but we're just going to focus on this first way because it's too hard to explain in video form. So we're just going to do this where you multiply straight across. So 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 3 is 12, 6/12 dividing by the greatest common factor. Remember, you have greatest common factor. How to find that? You list the multiples of, or not the multiples, the factors of 6. So here we have those numbers that multiply together to get 6, 1, 2, 3, and 6. And then the not multiples, the factors of 12. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. The largest number, remember, greatest common factor, biggest number, biggest factor that they have in common is 6. That's where the 6 comes from. They didn't just pull it out of thin air. They found it by finding the greatest common factor. So might have to go back into your flip book and find out how to do that, but that is how you find the number that you divide by. The other way you could do it is to divide by 2, divide by 3 until you get down to the lowest lowest simplified fraction. So we've got 6 divided by 6 is 1, 12 divided by 6 is 2. Remember, when your greatest common factor is 1, you're done. Remember that phrase? So in this case, the greatest common factor of 1 and the greatest common factor of 2 is 1, so we're done. 6/12 simplifies into 1/2, so Deandra ate 1/2 of the whole pizza. So the multiplication part of this is super easy. You just multiply straight across. So we could model it. We're not going to model it. If we were in the classroom, I would certainly model it with you. But because we're doing virtual learning, we're just going to do this way over here, multiplying straight across. 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 9 is 36. The greatest common factor that they're dividing by here is 3. And again, you could list the factors of 15, 1, 3, 5, and 15, and then list all of those factors of 36. You would find that the common factor the biggest number that they have in common is a 3, and then divide by that. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. 36 divided by 3 is 12. So your answer is 5/12. So writing in simplest form, again, we are just going to be doing multiplying straight across. So we've got 1 times 1, which you know is 1, and 7 times 2 is 14. So this sample, super easy. Whenever you have a numerator of 1, that also indicates that it cannot be simplified because the only factor of 1 is 1. So anything divided by 1 is itself. So in this case, you just multiply straight across. So you end up with 1/14, and it's already simplified. I want to do a couple of problems here. The shading part of this is super easy. We skipped the modeling of this, but I just want to show it to you so that you have it. When you are multiplying 5/6 times 3/4, There are 6 columns here and there are 4 rows. So you would shade 5 out of the 6 columns. And all of these would get shaded in. 5/6 of them get shaded in. So all of this gets shaded in. And then it says 3 out of 4 or 3/4 of the rows. So I'm just going to change my color here and change it to blue. And I'm going to shade in 3 out of 4 rows. What this is showing you is that, first of all, let me go back to black so I can write here. First of all, when you count up how many squares there are, there's 24 squares here altogether. And if you count how many are double shaded, meaning they have the blue and the black, that is these squares right here. And it's only those squares right there that are shaded in. There's 5 across, 3 down to indicate 15. This is how you model it. These are the 15 out of 24 squares right here that have 2 colors, well, not 3, but 2 colors that were shaded in them. So that is how you model that. So your answer here is 15/24. I'm going to click off of this and erase my stuff and just show you how the book has it. So you can see how the book has it shaded. Here's the 5 out of 6 that are shaded this way, the 3 out of the 4 that are shaded this way. Yes, I know, I've just given you the answers. That's okay. I want you to have those answers so that you can see where these answers came from. So we started out here at 15/24 as our answer, because when you multiply straight across, 5 times 3 is 15, 6 times 4 is 24. They came up with 5/8. How did they get that? Well, they divided by the greatest common factor. What was that greatest common factor? If you said 3, you are right, because 15 divided by 3 is 5, 24 divided by 3 is 8. When you multiply straight across here, 3 times 5 is 15, 10 times 6 is 60. The greatest common factor, can you guess what it is? If you're going from 15 to 1, what are you dividing by? If you said 15, you are absolutely right. 15 divided by 15 is 1, 60 divided by 15 is 4. That is the greatest common factor, the number that they have in common. Here is the shading. They shaded 5/6. There are 6 rows. They shaded 6 of those. There are 10 columns. They shaded 3 out of the 10 columns. This is where that 15 out of 60, there are 60 squares here, or rectangles, and 15 of them are colored in. So this is the modeling portion of this. As you look up here, 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 7 is 28. They got 3/14 because the greatest common factor they divided by was 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 28 divided by 2 is 14. So yes, I know that I've given you the answers on the first 3 problems here, but that's okay. That tells me A, who's watching these videos, and B, that you're paying attention. So take your time. If you have questions, as always, just email me and I'd be happy to answer you. There will also be some Khan Academy videos out there to help you with these. Talk to you later.